Hi, how are you? I'm so glad you're here today. Thea? Well, I was going to say, Thea and I are really excited you come to read with us. However, I don't seem to have Thea here. Let me see. Thea. I found her. Hey, Thea, don't you want to come out and read with us? You guys, I think she's feeling a little shy. Do you think you could help me call for her? Yeah? Okay, maybe if we start out really quietly and then get a little louder, she'll come and join us, okay? Let's see. Thea. 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 Oh, Thea. Hi, how are you? Hello, my name's Thea. I'm feeling a little shy, so sorry about that. But I get shy around new people. Oh, Thea, it's okay. You don't have to be scared. These are friends. They've come to read with us today. Oh, all right. Well, I suppose that's okay. Well, you know, it's always great to meet new friends and to make new friends. It really is. I do love that. Well, do you know one of the ways we can get to know each other better is through spending time with one another and through reading? I do love to read. Really, really do. I do too. And you know what? One of the things I love to do is to learn more about God. Do you? I do, but I can't see him like I can you. How can I learn more about God? Well, just like we can spend time with one another reading and getting to know one another, I love to learn more about God through reading. Wow, that's terrific. Maybe our friends would like to join us. Well, I think that's why they're here. So maybe we can read a book and then talk about it together. Would you like that? I would you? I think they would. Should we start? Our book today is called When God Made the World. It's beautiful. Should we read it together? Are you cozy? Comfortable? Okay, how about you? What we're going to do is put on our quiet listening ears and our quiet seeing eyes so we can listen and hear the words and see the pictures together, okay? This one's called When God Made the World. It's by Matthew Paul Turner. In the very beginning, before anything was, before God started doing what it is God does, when all that existed was wide open space, God imagined a universe and began to create. God hung trillions of lights, stars big and stars bright. God turned the dark sky into a glorious sight. God put planets in places with moons in some cases, and galaxies that reach the outermost spaces. God made comets that fly with tails through the sky, and asteroids and meteors that sometimes zoom by. And with cosmic explosions, God set space in motion, causing planets to orbit their suns with devotion. And somewhere amid all the swirling light, inside a cluster of milky white, among stars and planets and cosmic dust, God made a place for the story of us. 'Cause when God made the world, God displayed heaven's glory for you and for me and for all the world's stories. Our planet made a blue and green sphere and designed it to orbit the sun once a year. God made daytime and nighttime, climates and seasons, and all kinds of weather that varies by region. God made continents and oceans, islands and seas, a north and south pole that God put in deep freeze. God carved rivers and brooks, mountains and caves, made beaches with sand and huge crashing waves. God made tropics and plateaus, glaciers and meadows, marshes and tundras and erupting volcanoes. God made some places high, with peaks in the sky, and places where snowflakes still fall in July. And in quite a few spots, God made it so hot, should you visit, just know that you must drink a lot. God made valleys so low and geysers that blow, and under Earth's surface, God put well springs that flow. Then, With gardens and forests and other things green, God made earth come to life using soil and seed. God made cypress and pines, bushes and vines, all kinds of trees with leaves God designed. Plants full of flavor like basil and thyme, and trees that grow citrus like grapefruit and lime. God made flowering plants and plants that enchant. While most you can touch, God made some that you can't. Roses, be warned, are prickly with thorns, and there's an African melon God covered in horns. And poison ivy's backlash, giving you a rash. Wherever it touches, you'll itch and you'll scratch. But don't let that stop you. Run barefoot through grass, pick a bouquet or two, perhaps. Find a tree you can climb, or with a seat and some twine, build your very own swing or backyard zip line. And when you eat grapes, or pour syrup on crepes, or into a forest you go to escape, give thanks to God for all that God made, for the fruit and the syrup, for the trees and the shade. 'Cause when God made the world, God did all that God could to create every detail for our joy and our good. Now what happened next is a mystery at best, but God made a bird and a bird made a nest. So God filled the sky, perhaps over time, with birds and more birds, and most learned to fly. God made bluebirds and blackbirds, big birds and small birds, a few birds quite absurd, and the loudest bird you ever heard. Crows crowed, doves cooed, chickens clucked, owls hooed. Robins chirped, pheasants whirred. The world got noisy when God made birds. Then the oceans God filled with fish, sharks, and krill. Creatures God made with fins and with gills. Swordfish and trout, fish sleek and fish stout, and whales that God made to breathe through a spout. God made sea rays and eels, fish red, yellow, or teal, and some fish so odd that they hardly looked real. Like a fish that has fangs or a monster-like face, or a fish that flies or makes its body inflate. And wherever a river, ocean, or sea touches dry land, there's likely to be all sorts of creatures living their lives on land and in water. That's how they survive. Like otters and frogs, turtles on logs, and crocodiles gathering in swampy bogs. And then God made cows, horses, and goats, and God made gibbons with inflatable throats. God planned lions to roar and tigers to pounce, and kangaroos, God thought, let's make you bounce. God made bears to growl, moles to plow, and under full moons, coyotes to howl. Donkeys brayed, giraffes bleated, jaguars prayed, rhinos stampeded. Bunnies hopped, beavers chopped, and in muddy pools, hippos plopped. Yes, all living creatures from whales to snails, from those covered with feathers to those covered with scales. Each God designed with a home in mind to develop and evolve if needed over time. Because when God made the world, every creature on earth became a part of life's circle, having value and worth. And God made people like you and me. People with souls, people with stories, a global family tree. God made us all flesh and bone, covered in skin, and made all our bodies to have hearts beating within. God gave us bellies and legs, fingers and toes, and fashioned our faces with eyes, mouth, and nose. God made our bodies uniquely equipped for walking and talking, to eat and to skip. God wired our brains to feel love and feel pain, to process and learn, to read and retain. But despite all we share, we're also unique. God made us all humans with just a few tweaks. Each of our faces, bodies, and traits, our skin tones, our features, God did create. God made some people shy and some people loud, and some who thrive in the midst of a crowd. Some make music and some like math, and some are prone to blaze their own path. But always remember, 'cause this much is true, God had a purpose for making you, you. So use every gift, every talent or shtick, make the world better with your God-given trick. Bring smiles to faces, show love and good graces to those who need hope in all different places. Discover a star, a planet or moon, or help keep a forest from dying too soon. Save a whale, hug a tree, protect every bee, recycle, repurpose, reject apathy. 'Cause all of creation whispers God's story, the mountains, the ocean, the blue morning glory, the raindrops, the sunshine, the grapes on the grapevine. With nature, God gives us a glimpse of divine. And just like a star might showcase God's light, or a waterfall gives us a sign of God's might, the same could be said of me and of you. How we live, how we love, tells God's story too. 'Cause when God made the world and the world started spinning, the story God wrote was just a beginning. Wow. What do you think of that, Thea? I loved it. What an incredible story. I mean, God made the entire world, the whole universe, and he made it because he loves us. That's right, he did. And he gave us so many beautiful things, amazing animals like you and your friends and our friends. He made people. And what do you think that this story tells us about God? Well, if he made the world and he loves us, well, I wonder if we ought to love those same things too. I think that's a really good point, Thea. I mean, we ought to love the world and cherish it because God gave it to us, right? And do you remember that the book was also telling us about how he made each of us unique and special and different? What do you think about that? Well, I think that's really wonderful because I like some things and you like some things, and they're not always the same, but God made us that way. So it means no matter what, we are special. I think that's right, Thea, that is. And that we can love one another because God loved us and because he made us all special and unique. And there are so many different things that we can do in the world and for God with those special and unique talents that we have. Isn't that great? I really think so. I love that. Thank you so much for reading this book. I hope our friends liked it too. Well, I hope you did like it. I loved reading it. And I hope you'll join us for more story times when we learn a whole lot more about God and how we can love him and each other. All right, should we say goodbye to our friends? Maybe they'll join us next week. Please do. I would love that. It would be really brilliant. Thank you so much. Bye.